Hello, this is Chris Maddox from the Wild Woman Project, and I'm speaking to you today because I always speak to you at new moon time, and the new moon is upon us. It arrives actually on July 4th, 2016, and it's the new moon in Cancer. And for those of you who are new to the Wild Woman Project, first of all, warm welcomes, and second of all, you're going to notice that we make a really big deal about this time of the moon cycle, the new moon. So actually, if you stand outside on any given new moon day and you look up at the sky, you will not see the moon. The moon is back behind the sky. It's sort of in retreat mode. And in so many ways, the moon is teaching us constantly about the nature of creativity and even the nature of the feminine. So you'll see that there are wild woman moon circles that are happening all around the world by trained facilitators. And each month here at the Wild Woman Project, each new moon and moon cycle, we have a theme, and the theme starts at the new moon and it carries us through the cycle. So our theme is always inspired by the sort of astrological placement of the new moon at hand. So this upcoming new moon is in the astrological sign of Cancer. And, we have been inspired to kind of call in all of these sort of different feminine archetypes that have a kinship with each one of these signs. So we've explored so many archetypes over the past year, and for this new moon in Cancer, we are going to dive sort of really deeply into the heart of the archetypal mother, so the divine mother. And we do that for a few reasons, some of which I'll talk about in this video. But if we look to, and I want to be clear about this divine mother and what that really means for any of us, you'll see throughout so many different traditions and cultures that the mother in this sort of divine form is a very big part of the culture at hand. So if you look at, in the West, those practicing Christianity can look to Mother Mary as this great symbol of this ideal mother and this divine mother, and kind of learn from that, and it goes across the board. The Egyptians have the great mother goddess Isis, who unfortunately her name has been co-opted for something I think, in essence, she's not in alignment with. But Isis is a great example of a mother goddess from the Egyptian tradition. You have Pachamama from, the indigenous people of the Andes. The list goes on and on and on. So you can sort of think of, if in your particular tradition or culture or lineage, if there is sort of like an archetypal mother, divine mother that you can think of. But what we're going to be doing this new moon in Wild Woman Moon Circles is kind of really sitting down and having a talk and a deep connection with that divine mother that, lives inside of us as well as outside. So we're going to be exploring our own personal ideal of what that is, what the divine mother means to us, and how it lives in each one of us, because I think it means different things to each of us. And I think honoring our individual connection to that great mother ideal is extremely important. So that's one of the things that we're going to be doing at this new moon, is really calling on the great mother. And, I'll speak a little bit about sort of what is the connection between the Cancer, the astrological sort of Cancer archetype, and the mother. You can learn a lot about a sign if you look to its ruling planet. So in astrology, there's these planetary rulers. One is the moon and another is the sun, and then you have all the planets. Now, of course, our scientific minds know that the moon and the sun are not actually planets, but in astrology, they're planetary rulers. Just FYI. So the ruler here of the sign of Cancer is the moon. So it's very natural for us to kind of look to the moon and say, well, what about the moon is teaching us? What can we learn from the movements of the moon? So a couple of things that I just want to point out because I think that they're interesting. Out of all of the planetary rulers, the moon is the closest to Earth. And I think that there's something when we're talking about the mother, whether it's the divine mother or it's, you know, women in our lives that sort of embody that ideal, whether we're looking at our actual birth mother or an aunt or a grandmother or a mentor or a friend who has that feeling of deep closeness. So there's something that we can really learn about the Cancer archetype when we think about the fact that the moon is so close. I mean, if you compare it to something like Pluto or Saturn, I mean, they are way out there. But the moon circles around and around. And for all of the bad rep that she's gotten over the years, you know, for being changing, if you look closely, even though she's constantly changing each and every day, that cycle repeats itself over and over again. So there is a sense of continuity. She's not just all over the place. I mean, she's really each and every moon cycle kind of doing the same thing, going through the same kind of process at a different time in a different way. And so I think, you know, when we think about the intimacy that one feels or one can feel when you stand underneath the moon, and it's almost like you can look at it like a dear friend, a mother, a grandmother. So that closeness, I think, is very important. If you think of maybe the Cancers in your life, the people who have the who were born under the sign of Cancer, you know, their orientation, for better or worse, and I think they also get a bad rep, but they are drawn to comfort. And I think in our society that's constantly striving and going forward and reaching for it and all of that, and there's beauty in all of that, and I love all of that too. I think we underestimate the importance of the moments where we can feel so deeply comfortable, like we're being held by something. Sometimes, you know, one can feel like that if you lay down on the ground and you just put your belly down and you kind of like hug the earth. You can feel sort of the quality of, ooh, that is like deeply, profoundly comforting. And, you know, there's a beauty to that. Life doesn't have to be all about striving. It can be about resting in the arms of the mother, resting in the arms of those things that nourish us, that hold us. Because in so many ways, the world we live in is built with conflict in it and built with experiences. Our lives are built with experiences that stretch us. And how nice is it to know that inside or outside, there is a deep place within us that we can drop into and remember, you know, at the end of the day, we are loved. Everything's going to be okay. You know, that kind of like, think of the person who represents that mother in your life, whether it's your actual mother or not. You know, our theme this month is, and this new moon is calling on the mother. What is that moment where it's 3 o'clock in the morning and something is going on in your life, and the only person that could possibly give you comfort would be that one person that represents that mother sort of archetype. So that's what we're focusing on this moon cycle. And there's a few ways that you can go deeper. This is just sort of like a mini little taster of what we're going to be exploring in Wild Woman moon circles. So you'll see below this video, I'll have a few links, and you can click on the new moon report, and where you'll go deeper. It'll be more things to contemplate, additional practices and tools, etc. It'll have a link to find a Wild Woman moon circle near you. If on that list you do not see your city, you have a couple of options. You can download the New Moon Companion, where it's you and I in a virtual retreat, and I'll lead you through a deeper look at the astrology, a deeper look at the theme, and a visualization and a process in which you sort of leave the experience with intentions for the moon cycle ahead. And or if you're feeling like, what is this leading of Wild Woman moon circles? Maybe I want to do it. We have a training coming up this fall. It starts in October. It's already filling up. And I only accept 30 women at a time to maintain intimacy. So if it's something that's calling to you, I encourage you to jump on it. If you want to get in on the fall session. So I'm wishing you a cycle where you can really, really kind of restore, rest, connect to the nourishment that's available in the archetypal mother, and may it be fruitful for you and sweet and everything that it needs to be for you. And I will see you for the next new moon. And as always, you can go to thewildwomanproject.com and explore all the many facets of the project. All right, see you next time.